I'm literally recording this at the last minute, basically. But that's because I realized I didn't have anything in the queue queued up like I normally do, and I try to do. But anyway, favorite thing ever. We're gonna click the surprise me button, and we're gonna get Chrono and Dekar's RPG homepage. Oh, Final Fantasy, best viewed in 800 by 600 resolution and a maximized 4.0 plus browser. Welcome to Chrono and Dekar's RPG homepage. In case you haven't noticed, my favorite types of games are console RPGs. So this page is dedicated to them all. At this webpage, you'll find pictures, reviews, music, and other stuff. For most of the RPGs on this page, also be sure to check out some of the stuff in the featured sections. Let's see. So we've got, let's go to Final Fantasy Tactics. We'll look at the logo, about that one. Okay, cool. Let's go to the review. Oh, it's a very short one. Nice combo of polygons and pixels to make interesting graphics. Let's go to Final Fantasy VII, a classic that everyone talks up. Tifa, yeah, the waifu, classic. A music of various stripes, tips and tricks. Sevens of the Seven. The best game ever as of 97 introduces the materia system. Yeah. See, this one's longer than Tactics. We've got other RPG reviews. Let's go with Link to the Past is the only game from the Legend of Zelda series to hit the SNES. Plot is good, but 1 and 2 players will notice that it seems 3 takes on its own plot. Instead of the Triforce of Wisdom, Power, and Courage, the 3 Triforces are combined into one. Game's probably Shigeru Miyamoto's Mario. Best Zelda game to date. This is not your average Save the Princess game. That was until a gang of thieves, skilled in the black art, stumbled into the Golden Land by accident. Many quests to solve and optional items to get, interesting and mind-perplexing puzzles. Basic Nintendo puzzles, interesting plot, normal battles for flow right into the gameplay. Players may get confused with the inconsistency of plots from the first 2 Zeldas. To this one, somewhat easy to get stuck. The Zelda timeline in general is confusing anyway, so yeah. Let's see. Oh, he does Link's Awakening, too. Good number of puzzles. You can hold 2 items. One of them doesn't always have to be a sword. As good of a plot as but more original than A Link to the Past plot. Game Boy lets you play on the go. Each game is slightly different. Link gets the new abilities to jump and use his shield to defend. Somewhat easy to get stuck, little character development, no Princess Zelda, too many items, identical to ones from A Link to the Past. Re-equipping new items can be annoying. With the Super Game Boy, the credits look messed up. Minor gripe. Okay, so 3.0, 4.0. Overall is a 3.5. 4.0 on Link to the Past. We've even got Pokemon in here, huh? Pokemon stuff. New game theme. Other RPGs. Let's go back to 7. What does the overall review of 7 have again? 4.5. Or no. There is no overall. Okay. Tactics review 4.75. Someone's a big fan of Final Fantasy, I think. Parasite Eve. That logo is confusing. Who's Ben Baker? Okay. Great plot based on a Japanese novel, but is infamous for being a short game. Square uses a new battle system that uses a combination of ATB and real-time battles. Aya, the main character, can move around in real time during battles to dodge enemy attacks or position herself for an attack, but she can only attack when her time gauge is filled. Interesting. Huh. Well-developed plot, 2 endings. Tool lets you customize weapons, bonus points. Might have to look at grabbing that, maybe? 3.75? Interesting. So yeah. Other sections include humor. Yeah. And then we've got... Yeah. N64 versus PlayStation. Many people do not know why Square switched to the PlayStation format from Nintendo. Here I will attempt to show why they did so. However, I will also mention some reasons why Square should stay with Nintendo. Hopefully this will give you, if you don't already know this, a better understanding of why Square and maybe why they shouldn't have. If the reasons are unbalanced, it does not mean I like or suggest one system over the other. Also, in case you're wondering, this was originally going to be an editorial until I saw that there isn't as much opinion as fact. It almost seemed as if Nintendo and Square had some big friendship before this breakup. Square helping make Super Mario RPG is an example. Another example is that Nintendo sold and is still selling player's guides for Square's Nintendo games. N64 has no noticeable loading times. N64 games can typically be saved directly on the cartridge instead of having to save on a memory card. Nintendo will make the 64DD, which will be an attachment to the Nintendo, which can hold more memory than the N64 alone, and it will have other capabilities such as read-write. It seems that they are not going to release this in America, but things may change. N64 gives a player 360-degree control without having to buy a special new controller and have it only work on certain games. N64 has a rumble pack that can be attached to a controller, which makes it feel like you're are in the game by vibrating the pack when you get hit, fire a missile, etc. For some people, it doesn't make them feel that way. You or me, at least, get the sense that it is more 3D than the PlayStation. Controller can be held in 3 positions for different styles of gameplay, and 64 games come in only 1 cartridge instead of a PlayStation game, which comes in 1 to 5 CDs. Yes, CDs. Having this many CDs can make it difficult to remember what CD you are on. PlayStation can hold a lot more information than the 64. It can even hold more than the disc 64DD. PlayStation uses memory cards, so if you rent the game, you do not have to rent the same copy each time. PlayStation games are usually cheaper than N64. PlayStation has been on the market longer and thus can be considered more popular. 64DD mentioned in the for Nintendo will be about $200 if it is released in America. PlayStation can play audio CDs. Some games made for the PlayStation or Sega Saturn, who actually visits the section of and plays that, cannot be converted into a 64 format. Sony has attracted many game companies to their PlayStation system. PlayStation uses CG sequences. And new controller must be bought in 2 analog controllers. DualShock controller uses no batteries, unlike the Rumble Pack, and does not weigh the controller down. So the Rumble Pack doesn't... Does it? No, I don't know. It doesn't use batteries. But the other thing, too, is the Nintendo 64 has the in-controller memory pack later, at least sometime later on, I guess. But yeah. So, I mean, depending... Yeah, you can get bigger games on Nintendo 64 and still save to a memory card that you have at home. But anyway. I'm gonna switch... Yeah, I do like that, though. This is a really cool site, not gonna lie. Okay, historic views of Owosso in Corunna, Michigan. Oh, my friend. It's a personal website and is not affiliated with Shiawassee County City Governmental Agency, Company, Railroad, or Society. Owned by Steve Schmidt. Copying any photos and information is prohibited. So let's see, we've got a directory of it. I wonder if they've got decent records, because this is like big family history stuff right here that we've got going on that could be indexed. Huh. Wonder who. Huge records. Bro. So, depending on where it's hosted, these are high quality images too. Or higher quality, rather. Image in new tab. Eh. I mean, they're very readable. Churches, death rate, home ownership, golf courses. That is wild. Glimpse at Owosso. We've got census records of ethnicity and nationalities. They've even got whales in here. What? Dude needs to put records into places. Telephone directory. Look, it's even got the like ring hole for your outhouse to use it as toilet paper later on. Karuna, Atkins, Bayou, Balu, well drilling, Bennett ML, plumbing. Dude, are these records indexed on family history sites? Because big, 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 big. Dang. Business industry circus and fair. Free street fair held in 1897 in Owosso, Michigan. Souvenir. Okay, okay. First new pavement in 1898 looking for east. These are news articles? Oh, yeah, they're images from news articles and all. Bro needs to... Ooh. When dude dies, this could go out of the lost. Unless it's on the Internet Archive, but even and archived in multiple different places, actually. Owosso prisoner of war camp history. Dang. U.S. government during World War II set up 25 prisoner of war camps in Michigan, including Camp Owosso, located at the corner of M21 and Carland Road. The area was used as a dirt racetrack, but since it was not used during the war, served as a Camp Owosso between 1944 and 45. So, let me go back here, because much like Owosso, Brigham City of War. I wonder if they've got it. Uncle, no. So Brigham City has Bushnell Hospital? Nope. Son. So Brigham City has, let me go this way. Times and seasons, nothing. So let me try here for a slight Bushnell Hospital prisoner of war. So Utah had a couple of their own, and Brigham City was home to Bushnell Hospital, POW branch camp. This is, yeah. So it was kind of one of the nicer areas. Utah, I guess, tended to be nicer with the prisoner of war camps than some of the other areas. So they ended up using the prisoners of war for labor, but they were a lot nicer about it around here. So the guard at Salina, yeah. Bushnell Hospital was also used during World War II as a military army hospital, which is where my great aunt and great uncle met, I believe it was, if I remember correctly. And yeah, it was also used as an Indian school on top of that later on once the hospital was decommissioned. And now a lot of the buildings have been torn down, and some of them have been turned into warehouses, businesses, or even apartments. So it's really interesting the history with when mentioning that kind of stuff. So Owosso having the same deal going on, having been a camp and prisoner of war camp as well, we, in a lot of ways, we treated our prisoners of war a lot better than the other countries did. So, I mean, you can even see if we go back to it. So, below, German prisoners of war at a side camp in Michigan are pictured here playing soccer, chief form of outdoor recreation. So, yeah. Many prisoners of war that were held by the US ended up being returned in better condition oftentimes than the counterparts held in adversarial countries. But anyway, yeah. I didn't expect history that kind of way, I guess you could say. Let's go back. So, yeah, we had games and history. History and games. Somebody was an RPG nut, another person was a historical nut, and definitely needs to like put some of those records into somewhere where it can be more preserved and archived. If you liked the content, if you enjoyed it, if you think I deserve it, like, comment, subscribe, leave any criticisms you have or what have you. I appreciate it. Feed that algorithm, like I said, and I will see you guys in the next one.